So tonight's demo, let's talk about today's demo. We're going to be doing this give thanks big, I called it an oversized leaf sign, okay? So the give thanks leaf sign, I thought would be really cool if you painted it out, if you did it on cardstock especially, painted it and then cut it out, and you could use it as place settings for your Thanksgiving dinner or your next fall party or a door favor. Do the give thanks or write somebody's name on it. So I'm going to share with you the method that I would use to put the name on or write whatever you want. And I'm going to share with you how to get this really pretty montage blend of colors for the fall season. Okay, let's get overhead and we will get started. I lost my mind. Let's see. Okay, there we are. Okay. So this is the design. And the first thing that I would do is I'm going to sketch out this leaf. Okay, so first I want you to see, this is an 9 by 11, no, what size is this? This is 9 by 12. Okay, so it's 9 inches wide. So you can see how big this is. It's this big as my hand. All right, so if you take your hand and just kind of spread it apart like this, boy, that certainly looks an awful lot like that leaf. So I'm going to put a little point right here, and then opposite that, I'm going to put a little point right there. And then right up here at my tall finger, I'm going to put a point right there. Okay, so I know you probably can't see those, so I'm going to make them a little darker. All right. And then from that center, I'm going to come straight down and I'm going to find the base of my leaf, which is right here. And so I'm going to make a V with an open bottom. All right, so now let's sketch this out. We've got in between each of these, you've got another point that's right here and roughly right there. All right, so that's our 5 points for our leaf. So now all we have to do is kind of come in between here and create this kind of jagged edge leaf. And then at the bottom, we're going to come up into the leaf and then sweep down and out to the point. Okay, so then here, from this peak, we're going to come down and meet in the middle here and then go back out to that point. Now, what I like, I don't care to have them have this deep V, so I'm going to bring this, excuse me, I'm going to bring this over. And I prefer to have them kind of overlap each other, right? And then have this come up like that. Okay, and then so here, same sort of thing. Let them kind of merge into each other, overlap a little bit. All right, so that's the left side of our leaf. Now we're going to do the right side. So let's start down here at the bottom. We're going to come up again, down. Now remember, I really want these to have some movement in here, so I don't want them really super smooth. Looks better if they kind of undulate and turn a little bit, okay? And then from that point, let's bring this point up a little higher. When I sketch, I always make adjustments. There we go. All right, so then from here, we come in, and then we're going to overlap, come out to that peak, come down, and then from here, let's come up and bring this over there a little bit. There. Okay, so then you kind of step back a little bit, take a look at it, This looks like it's out a little too far, so and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm sorry guys, I'm being way too picky about that. There we go. All right, and then our stem is going to come sweeping down like that. Okay, so now we're ready to put out our colors. I've got several different colors here, and you can decide how, you know, how much and how little, what color, what are your favorite colors. Maybe you only want them two-tone. So we've got some pure orange there. I'm going to put out some apple red next to that. And some lime green for our bright bottom. There we go. We'll put some, this is moon yellow. I'm using Plaid Folk Art multi-surface satin acrylic paints for this. Then I need some white for my lettering. A little bit of white, a little bit of licorice. Okay. And then actually I've omitted a couple colors for my leaf. So we've got some classic green here. And we've got some Juneberry. Don't need a whole lot of that. We need a little more than that. Okay. All right. And so this is kind of a wash. So I'm going to need some, floating medium. Okay. So comment about using a darker leaded pencil. I don't want a dark leaded pencil on this because I don't want my pencil lines to show through. All right. But the idea was that I teach you how to sketch this, and I can darken these lines. But you can always, if you're not confident to do the sketching, you can take a screenshot and print it out and sketch over it yourself. But these free demos are usually for lessons on how to do stuff and don't include patterns. So the sketch is just a leaf. You can download and print out any leaf that you like and use that as an example also. Okay. So I've got a 3/4 inch flat 1-stroke brush. I'm going to get that damp and lay it on paper towel. And then I'm going to come and load my brush with quite a bit of the floating medium here in the middle. And then let's tap these out. And I'm going to blend in some of this lime green color, mostly on 1/2 of my brush. So leaving a little bit of the right side with no color, just medium. Okay. So from here, I'm going to come along this bottom edge. Let's get a little bit more. It's not strong enough. And we're going to come through here. So just kind of wiggling around that outside edge. All right, keeping that green out there. And then I'm going to kind of wash in the middle with that limey green color, just with what's left on my brush, okay? And so it's very light and loose on the outside edge up there, and I've really got almost no paint left on my brush. So I'm going to come back now and get more medium and get some of this moon yellow. All right, and we're going to come along this edge and work that yellow into and with the edge of the green. Okay, a little more yellow. And you see I'm just kind of slip-slapping the corner of my brush and letting those colors blend together. So it's very little color with the medium is going to let that happen. See, now it's transitioning from green into yellow, and then we're going to work up into a little bit of orange. So again, not much color left on my brush. I'm going to come get more medium now and get some orange. This is pure orange. And we're going to wash this up into the top remaining points of my leaf. And sweep back and forth. To work that into the yellow below. Okay, so I'm kind of losing my yellow, so I'm going to come back and get a little more of that and deepen that in the middle up into the orange. Okay, so I just want to be careful that I don't lose my transition from yellow to green and from yellow to orange. All right, now I'm going to clean this brush. And there's a comment here, try using watercolor pencils to sketch the design. The lines blend in. Yes, I know that's the tip that I've given many times. But with this, we're going to be using multiple colors on our outside edge. So I was just trying to share how to sketch a leaf. All right, so let's get medium. I clean that 3/4 flat, and no, you know what? I want to switch now to my 16 flat. That's what it was. So we're going to switch to the 16. We're going to load that 16 with medium now. And then I'm going to come and side load. So look at this. You've got the Juneberry around the top. You've got some red around that edge, and then some darker green outlined at the bottom. So let's start with our Juneberry. Okay, so I'm getting Juneberry, and then I'm coming and getting red. So that will make it easier for us to transition into the red if you've got the Juneberry with the red. All right, so let's come along this. I'm going to come down closer so you can see how we do this. So this is a side load of color, nothing else on the other half of my brush, and you want to be on the flat of the brush and go up, okay? So a little bit of a wiggle as we do that will give you that kind of shading and folds of the leaf. And we're trying to go over the pencil lines so that they don't show. And stay up a little bit, not too much on the flat of the brush for this, because you want to have points in this leaf. So that got a little too smooth. I want points in that, okay? All right, now I'm just going to continue with the red, because we used Juneberry and red here. Now I'm just going to continue with the red, going out and in to create that jagged edge. And you can see, because I made that pencil line so dark, that if I want it to disappear, I've got to have some pretty strong color here. And then on this side with the red, out and in, out and in, out to a point, and then come back. So this is how you would do a leaf that is of an oversized type, right? Where you want to have some color and other colors on the outside edge. All right, so now I'm going to come and get some more of that Juneberry, and we're going to make this edge darker and just come to that point. And then back, let's get a little more Juneberry. There we go. And then I'm going to kind of chisel edge it as I come around that bottom edge of the leaf. Then I'm going to come and get more of the red. I actually just want the red. Didn't mean to pick up the Juneberry. So let's get just red. Each time I'm getting medium and then I'm side stroking the color that I want. In and out to a point. And a little medium. There. Now, I want to have just a little bit of brown along this bottom edge, and hopefully you know, but if you don't, that if you combine red and green, you will get a shade of brown. And it's got a reddish tint to it, so it's a really kind of pretty shade of brown. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got red on my brush, and now I'm going to side stroke green and let those colors blend together. And I'm going to get a deep brownish red tone. Okay, so let's turn this way. And we're going to come along this bottom and stand up to the chisel at the bottom of the leaf. And then we're going to come from there and push down. And then let that run over into the red there. So we get a little bit of a brown, darker tone to that part of the leaf. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish this with some of this classic green. Actually, let me wipe my brush off first. Let's get a little bit of medium. We'll get some classic green on the brush, and then I'm going to come and grab some lime green. And we're going to come right here from the bottom of the leaf, come down slightly, and then on the chisel, come all the way up and join up with the leaf itself. Okay, and then I'm pulling some of that brown down that was wet. There we go. Oops, a little heavy right there. That's okay. There. Okay, now with what's left on my brush, actually no, let's switch. We're going to go to the script liner now. And I'm going to get inky green. This is going to be this inky kind of blend of classic and lime. A little more water. So water and this blend. All right, and so what I'm going to do now is some of the veining, which we don't usually do veining in one stroke painting, but in this case it looked really pretty in the background and needs to be a little bit stronger. I don't want it really stark, dark difference, but I do want to have a visibility. So then you kind of just lift as you come to the top, and then you're going to Y off down here and kind of wiggle over with the tip. Twisting as you go will kind of bring that out to a point. And then let's turn this way. So from here, you just kind of head towards the tip, but let it fade off. All right, and then we're going to do it again up here. We'll Y out to that and let it fade off to here. And so now you've got those veins coming out to all the points in the leaf. So then you just kind of finish with a few smaller veins coming off with a slight wiggle. I get the best wiggles when I twist the brush with my fingers. So if I twist it as I pull, it wiggles the brush just enough that it's not a straight line, and it keeps it up on the tip. If I roll it with my finger. So you have branches. It's just like a tree branch, right? You have branches coming off and then smaller branches coming off those. Now don't get carried away with this. I'm starting to already. I'm talking to myself as well as you guys, but you don't want to have too many of these because you want the focal point to be the words that we're going to put in just a minute. Okay, so just a few of these is really all you need. And you can be loose. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, this is better. That was too much. Okay, so just a few of these. And you have to have inky paint to do this, so it can't be heavy, thick, gloppy. You want nice, thin. It dries quickly, and then you can do your lettering quite easily over the top of that. Okay, so there's our leaf veining. Just a few in between there. And that's good. All right, now, all right, you guys want to see how to do this with watercolor pencils instead of with pencil. So you can use black watercolor pencil. I have a brown. I don't have a black watercolor pencil, but I do have different colors. We'll see how well you can see this because watercolor pencils tend to be fairly faint in color too. So what I had written on this one was give thanks. So I thought if you cut this out and make a nice little sign, maybe punch a hole, have it hang. You could have different leaves hanging over your table. But you could also use it as a name sign, okay? So for like a placeholder. So my friend Julie is visiting, so I'm going to use her as my name. And I want to have a pretty, let's see, how am I going to do this? So it's going to come from here and it's going to loop like that and come around like that. And then it's a J. Oh no, that's not. See, this is the problem. I can't erase. I don't think I can erase a watercolor. No, I'll have to wet it down. Okay. So the way you erase watercolor is you use water. Okay. So just a little bit of brown in there, but that's fine. Okay, so let's see. We want to do a pretty J. So here's our J basic. And I want to have it, let's see, come this way. I don't know. I'm just going to bring it out here. How's that? And then we'll have a U, and you can do it block lettering. You can do it cursive, the lost art of cursive. And then have the trail off. So I just don't like this. This is not working for me. We're going to put a loop here and bring it up like that. There. Okay. So yeah, the trick with the watercolor pencils is that if you use paint with them, acrylic paint, they will dissolve and then you won't see the pencil marks. That's the whole thing with that. Okay, so let's get now inky licorice. And the trick with lettering is you need inky paint. All right, so I'm going to get water and work that in with licorice on the entire length of my brush. Okay, and then you just keep working with that color. So downward strokes is what's important when it comes to lettering. So if you're going sideways, that's fine. but then you come down and you lift, right? And then you come from the other side and you come down and you lift, and you try to meet them in the middle. Okay, and then you want to hold this brush straight up and down. We're going to come up like that, and then we're going to come down like this, and down like this, and meet up in the middle. So downward strokes, down and lift, down and lift. All right, and then pull this way to come together. And then here you're going to touch and come down and lift. And up here, touch and come down and meet up with that. Lettering just takes practice, and it can be intimidating, but I would encourage you to try it because personalization is very popular, especially when it comes to ornaments, shirts, purses, hats, things like that that you might paint. You can do it while they wait if you're doing craft shows, or you can have them custom order it and pick it up. All right, so now when we come to the end of this, we're going to push and stand up and trail that off. Okay, now that looks fine and pretty, but what really makes it stand out is then you come in with inky white or an other accent color, but it needs to be contrast to the lettering color you used. So in this case, white, and then you're going to outline the lettering. So I always like to do top and or bottom and left side. So I come here to the bottom and stand up, and then here bottom, stand up, and then here bottom and stand up, and then you're going to come across there. All right, and what did I miss? I missed the left, which is going to be right here, which is contrary to that, but that's a sideways thing. It gets a little, you have to pick, and I should have picked, and it shouldn't have been both of them. All right, so come here and down, stand up, and then on the left side of this, and stand up. And see how that makes that really pop out? So here you're going to do it, down and stand, down and stand, underneath, left, left. Now I almost obliterated that left side of that L, so I'll show you how we fix that. Underneath, left, and then you go all the way out to the end on this one. Okay, and then inside here you're going to do right there. Oh, and I forgot the dot, so we'll get the dot white first, and then we'll add the black. Okay, so if you accidentally go over your lettering with your contrasting color, you can come back with the original color and lay that right back in. So mistakes are usually pretty easy to fix in lettering, as long as you don't try to freehand it without sketching it out first. I think a lot of people try to freehand, and if it's something basic, easy, that's fine. But if it's complicated or cursive, or you're trying to do something like this, it might be a good idea to first sketch it on there. Okay, so there you have it. Now the last thing I did on my leaf was I came back and did some shading underneath. Now if you want to do that, you can. I'm going to load my 3/4 with medium, And then I'm going to come get my red and my green and work those together to a brown. Okay, so this brown has a reddish tint to it, as you can see, but I'm working it together nice so I get rid of a lot of that kind of pink tone at the bottom. Okay, so all I did with this was I came and underneath here shaded. You need a lot of medium to do this on paper. Okay, all the way down. Okay, and more medium. And on the other side. So you come along that stem on that side, and that just kind of lifts it up. Now that's a pretty strong shadow. I might have been smart to work that a little narrower. Okay. And there we go. All right, now the other thing you can do, I just want to share with you, is you can come and side load any other color that you like. If you want to come back in here and do just a few. So what's nice is if you get a little bit of white, side load a little bit of white, and you can come in on some of these and do little highlights along those peaks so that it brings out a little bit different look. There. So especially along here, maybe where my browns kind of matched, right? You can just add a little bit of that back in there, and that'll wake it back up. Gives a little bit of a frosted look even, and that's kind of fun. Okay, so then I'm gonna get some inky, let's get some inky red here and sign that, and that is my fall greeting / place card placeholder sign demonstration. I hope you enjoyed that.